It's a great day to talk hockey with Grant McCagg on HabsCast.
Every day is a great day to talk hockey on HabsCast, but especially on a Sunday morning with my favorite, Rick Springhetti. Rick, how are you today?
With an introduction like that, I feel fantastic. Wow, what a nice way to start my Sunday morning. Thanks, Grant. I'm doing great. And how are you, my friend?
Oh, I couldn't be better, except bit of a hangover from a Habs thrashing last night, you could say. But
Yeah,
you get over it. Uh, was not expecting a victory, so when you put it in perspective that they're playing a team that's lost once in regulation, third game out of 4 on the road, the altitude, all the excuses for why they didn't show up last night. I thought their first period was okay. That goal, that interference call, non-interference call, um, that kind of took the wind out of the Habs sails, and
yeah,
they just got overwhelmed after that. But we got a taste of why Colorado it would be the prohibitive cup favorites right now, and we'll see if anyone can slow them down. Mind you, it seems like every time a team dominates the regular season, they end up. It's like they blow. They blow it all in the first 82 games, and then get beat somewhere along the way in the playoffs. So never say never. The West's pretty
yeah.
strong, and there are teams certainly especially if they add a couple of pieces that they really need, that will give Colorado a go in the playoffs, I'm sure.
Yeah, but they're also a fragile team in a sense, right? Because they really rely on their top six forwards and their top three or four defensemen to carry the team. But
True.
if ever something goes wrong, they really don't have a lot of depth in that organization
Mm,
anywhere. They have not much in terms of their AHL teams, and they don't have anything to offer really on the trade market anymore. If they want to, if they need to get better, or they've given up a ton of draft picks, they don't really have any prospects of note anymore in their organization
that's true.
that will get you much. So hopefully for them, they'll stay healthy and not run into any injury problems.
Well,
But if they do, they're gonna have a problem.
let's hope they have some injuries. Come on, let's.
Well,
They,
they're in the
well,
Western. They're in the Western Conference, right? So they could stay healthy until they take on the Habs in the Stanley Cup Finals, and then
that's right.
they'll better off.
Then a couple of minor bruises wouldn't be too bad. Um, the uh, yeah, I have to admit there were a couple of guys playing last night for them that I had to go on to Hockey DB or whatever and say, who's that guy? So
Yeah.
yeah,
But
but
they have Ivan, right?
well, that's right, and he's twice as good. He's twice as good uh, as the other guys, in the bottom six. um, hey, we remember Ivan from World Juniors and the Q, and so there's a name. How can you forget the name Ivan, right? Yeah, yeah. Well,
Awesome.
so let's talk about the positive. Laval wins again,
Hmm.
tied for first place in the division. Pulled it off. They were up 3-1. Then uh, even I was listening to the Lehigh Valley broadcaster, and he was saying in the third period there. I caught the third. Um, don't know why that goal was allowed at the end. I guess time ran out, and the refs decided that, oh, that's okay. The intent was there, as Carl Boudreau said. Yeah, they gave it to him because the intent was there to score. I was wondering if maybe they jettisoned Garrett Rank from the Colorado game into ref the Laval game, do a double
Yeah.
header. You know, he I don't know. That's 3 straight games now. Rank has been Rank as far as I'm concerned, but we won't get into that. So they scored that goal to make it 3-2, Lehigh Valley. Then they popped 2 in the third to go up 4-3, and it's like, oh, okay. Including one from behind the net that went off Fowler's pad. That wasn't. He didn't quite cover the post, so that wasn't a great one against. But then Laval's newest addition, Mr. Sammy Blais, he says, "Okay, I want to call up. I want to call up there, Hugo. Remember me?" And he ties it up the last minute with a nice tip in front.
Wow.
And then in the shootout, he's the only one that scores. So Sammy Blais saved the day. Yay. And hey, what do you think? Sammy Blais going to get called up this week?
The more I think about it, Grant, the more I think he gets a call up later on. I think what's going to happen eventually is that they're going to decide that as much as they have nothing against the way Jared Davidson played in Montreal, he showed some good stuff. He made a positive impression overall. I think they're going to want Jared to go back to the American Hockey League. He's still young, play those minutes. He does. He is an important part of the Laval Rockets team. So he's going to get his opportunities. And I think they're going to just call up Sammy and say, no, we initially had signed you because we like you and we have a chance to get you back. And we do plan on keeping you. I still didn't understand at the start of the year why they went with, they didn't go with that extra forward. I think they would just to save a few bucks, which, at the salary Sammy Blais makes, I don't know if you're talking about much of a difference by the time the trade deadline comes or as the season goes on, but I guess every dollar counts. But I do think he gets a call up by the middle of next week. I think they're going to give Sammy Blais like a game, want to give just a game or two to get his legs a little bit. I don't think he played a whole lot at Toronto, maybe not as much as they would have liked. So give him a game or two, and when the time is right, just bring Jared Davidson down and let him play those minutes and continue to develop as he has. It seems like every year he's getting better. So there's reason to think that there's still some runway ahead of him to continue to improve.
Right. And I'm glad you called him Jared. I think on the HabsCast the other day, I called him Brandon because it's going back. At least there was a Brandon Davidson that played for the Habs a few years back.
Yes.
Freudian slip there, or whatever you want to call it, old age slip. But I mean, Davidson's played 5 minutes in the last 4 games.
Yeah,
and he's still a prospect, and you want him playing, right?
Yeah.
Sammy Blais can come up, he can sit out. Who cares, right? He's not a developing prospect. He can play, he can sit out. You want an extra forward. Ideally, it's not a Jared Davidson, it's a Sammy Blais or a Alex Texier, right?
Yes, 100%.
And if we look at the upcoming schedule here, this is crazy, by the way. 5 games in 7 in a week. That, starting on Tuesday against the Senators at home, the Jets Wednesday, in Toronto Saturday, then the Blues. And here's what I'm getting at, Rick. The Blues Sunday.
Okay.
Sammy Blais be licking his chops for that one, I think.
I hear you.
I think he'll be called up. Maybe it won't be till after the Jets game, but I wouldn't be surprised at the end of next week. Toronto, St. Louis. I think somebody would have,
Good call. I didn't even think of that when I saw the schedule earlier this morning. That's so true.
Yeah.
So the Sammy Blais Revenge Tour, we'll call it, right? We'll
That's
get jerseys made and everything.
Bet he scores in both. That'd be good. So then Lightning on the Tuesday, back home, and then Pittsburgh on Thursday. So some good teams, some teams that are struggling a bit right now.
Yeah.
It's kind of an ease in the schedule compared to what they just went through. 4 of the 6 at home. They got to start getting going on at home here, though. They've got a much better road record than they do home, I think, or a little better anyway. and typically it's the other way around. So 6 games. Here's hoping that they can pick up 8 to 12 points out of those 6 games. It would be nice. Oh, 12 might be asking a little much, but 8
Yeah.
plus would be good, right?
Yeah, and it's going to be a challenge too because they're not getting any of their injured players back during the stretch. Unfortunately, it's not like there's anybody to look forward to that'll come back. Maybe Struble, hopefully, if it's not serious, will be in the lineup sooner rather than later. But that's about it. None of them are back, so it's going to be up to their depth players to really step up and continue to try to take a big role. Thankfully, the goaltending was a bit better the last few games. I'm happy that Monty had his game on Wednesday where he played well, and that's important for the team. That's important for him. I don't think Dobish was terrible at all yesterday, although the goal is average
Yeah.
probably doesn't look very good right now. But I don't think there's much he could have done on many of the shots that he faced. So that's a good sign. They'll come back home with a better mindset, and hopefully they'll be able to. They're really going to have to steal a few games in there, just because of how many games they're playing and how many injuries they have. It's a dangerous schedule too, Grant, because a lot of those teams that are struggling on paper should be better, and so they could. They could come back and really bite Montreal in the butt if they're not paying attention. I mean, the
Yeah.
Jets are, I think, bottom 10 in the league, and I think they're better than that. And as much as we rag on Toronto, I mean, they're a better team. They should be better than they are now, I believe. With Austin Matthews, I
Well,
think coming
Matthews
back,
is
or
back.
I don't know if he's returned, but
Yeah.
they're not a bottom 5 team in the league. I don't think they're that
No,
bad.
no. But
Even
they're not great teams though at this point. So it's not like they're playing against Vegas, Colorado,
no,
Utah on
no.
the
But if they
road.
just look at the standings and see that and say, no, well, it's going to be, we should win these games. There shouldn't be a problem. They
Well,
should be a little
no,
bit
but
careful. You don't want to go that far
yeah,
either. St. Louis too. I question their
no.
defense, but they have some tools on forward that can play well.
Yeah,
So every game's going to be, but it's a league, right? It's a league with parity anyway. So even the bad teams can
right.
always surprise.
And,
Um, yeah,
and you said tankfully, and I don't be going there yet. I don't think the team should start tanking just
no, no,
because just
yeah,
because they lost so badly to Colorado. There, okay,
no,
go
no,
ahead.
no, no. No tank dog. We're not doing that anymore. It was cute for a few years, but now it's time to move on. Like it was our tanking seasons were a summer fling. We'll look back at it fondly, but it's over now.
Yeah. No, the tanksters have been very quiet so far this year, and I'm just hoping we can go a whole year without the people pissed off when they win games because it hurts the tank, right? That always just that as much as I'm a draftnik, it still bothered me to see, until it was obvious, right? Till they're almost like mathematically eliminated, then okay, tanks away, you know. I even joined the tank nation at that point where, oh damn, I didn't want them to win last night. I wanted it to be close, but anyways, but this year, no. Hopefully, hopefully that's over from about the midway point or a little further. Last year up till now, the tanksters have been quiet, and let's hope it stays that way for a decade because you know what that means, right? It means the Habs are good.
Yeah, and I think a lot of us feel, and a lot of even it's not just like Montreal Canadiens based fans or journalists or whatever you want to call them, right? You're hearing it from everywhere else in the league. People that don't cover Montreal who say, this is the start of a good 7, 8 to 10 years of possible success for this team. They're they're the youngest team in the league on average, and they're comfortably in the playoffs. Well, not comfortably in the playoffs, but they are in the playoffs. There's teams below them. And there's reason to think they'll continue to improve as the season goes along. Again, it's tough because the players that they're missing right now, uh, Goulet, Doc, even Liney, big bodies, and that's lacking right now for Montreal. And I know Liney doesn't necessarily play a physical game, but he's a strong player. He's hard when he's moving his feet and controlling
Yeah,
the puck. He's really hard to get around.
contain.
And and a new hook that was coming on really strong, and even a Suzuki that's in the lineup right now, but it doesn't seem to be quite the same player right now. He's not bad because his hockey IQ's off the charts, but he's not playing with that bite that he usually has. So there's a lot of reasons to think that this team is really starting to develop something special. The record, the record could be better right now if they didn't have quite so many injuries and didn't run into that serious goaltending problem where both of them were not just not very good, but kind of awful for a 2 to 3 week
Yeah,
period.
yeah. Just to go back to Laval for a sec here, I meant
Yeah,
to mention this, but Rybacher picked up another point last night. That's 8 points in 11 games for him now. Considering that he's, I think, thought of first and foremost as a future shutdown defenseman. It's nice to see him putting up at his tender age, right? Putting up impressive point totals. Eight points in 11 games is very good, and he's showing that he does have some offensive capability. Carrier -3 last night wasn't the best road trip you could say for him. I
no,
think after starting the season, I thought very strongly. The first 10 were very good. The last 10 not as good. Um, if he continues to struggle somewhat, like I'm not saying he's struggling badly, but playing average or below where he was playing as a Hab his first 50 games or whatever it was, 40 games. And Reinbacher, every time I've looked at him, he just seems to be getting better and better. Maybe at some point in the new year, they call up Reinbacher and maybe they even go with 8 defensemen for a while. But mind you, if Goulet comes back, then there's 9. So, and that's not even counting Engstrom, who would probably come back down. But I could see them calling up Reinbacher and maybe giving him a look and going with 8 defensemen for a little bit. Let Carrier sit out a couple of games, get Reinbacher in if Carrier struggles, and see if he's ready to because he is an upgrade. Ultimately, he's an upgrade on Carrier, I think.
100% ultimately will be. It's hard for me to. I don't know because I'm kind of stuck right now, maybe, and that might change. But right now, I'm kind of stuck on the idea of just having Reinbacher play in Laval the whole season and not even think NHL for now, and just because of all the injuries he's had. And I want him to just kind of play a lot of hockey, grow into his frame a little bit more. Lower that improve that lower body strength and solidify the legs, so that maybe he doesn't miss quite as many games. Um, I think
He's
I could see that happening more after Goulet comes back, and
yeah,
if you see that there's still some struggling with going on with Carrier, then maybe I would consider that. But I think
yeah.
not having Goulet really hurts because it's the penalty kill area, right? Where you got Matheson and Dobson on the first unit, but then you got Carrier, and there's really nobody else. Maybe Struble, but if he doesn't play, there's really nobody else that can really be,
They even have
strong
Hudson.
on the penalty kill,
They
right?
even
And it
have
doesn't
Hudson
affect his
playing.
plus and minus, but it affects his overall game, I think.
They
So maybe
they
when
even
Goulet
have
comes
Hudson.
back, it'll settle
Hagen.
down.
They even have Hudson playing some
Yeah,
on the PK now. Um,
yeah,
Reinbacher's actually got tree trunks for his legs, so I don't think he needs to put any more muscle on.
okay,
He just happened
okay,
to injure his knee. I don't think
okay,
it's because he's weak in the lower body. In
all
fact,
right, okay,
he's very stout from the
really,
waist down.
okay,
But yeah, I mean, he had a knee injury, or it happens. I mean, uh, I don't think that you look at it that way. I mean, if he comes up to Montreal and plays big minutes, that's even better than playing big minutes in Laval. Like if he's ready, I think.
yeah.
Like the best thing for his development would be playing 15 to 20 minutes a night in Montreal, if he's
Yeah,
ready. If he's
yeah,
ready. But
if he's ready.
typically top 5 defense picks, Rick, by the, after they turn 21 and they're getting close to 21 and a half are in the NHL. So, a lot of them are in the NHL at 20. So I think, I don't think it's too early to call him up if he's ready at some point over the next couple of months. And he's an upgrade on Carrier. He's exactly what they need. More size.
Yes, yes.
You know, uh, I would, I don't know, maybe Nashville would take Carrier back. They certainly know him quite well.
Yeah.
Uh, and by the way, tomorrow I've got a video. I'm going to finish it off today, but I'm not going to put it up today because Rick, I want you to be, in lights here. That over the, you last night the video is doing real well. I'm sure this video will do
That's
well.
great.
We're gonna have Rick Springhetti and lights. Everybody tune in for Rick, and I'll put up the video tomorrow. But I had a good look at O'Reilly and Stamkos, and um, I had an interesting take, and I will be putting up the video and giving my thoughts on whether I think that either should be a target for the Canadiens and who I would prefer if that's the case. And I think it will be a very interesting topic of discussion afterwards. And it will
Oh
be
yeah.
up on my Patreon page. So if you um, either subscribe to Patreon or even subscribe to this YouTube channel, I will get in touch with me and I will give you if you become a member of our HabsCast YouTube channel, I'll give you a free subscription to my Patreon page. So two
Fantastic.
uh, two hits for one. So,
That's just
anyways,
amazing, and
look for
I know
that.
it's
Look
going to
for
be
that
worth it.
tomorrow. What's that?
I know it's going to be worth it because they always are. You really put together some really, really good, important stuff. So, folks, please get on board. It's not just it's a nice gesture for us, for Grant, for the work he's putting in, trying to build this community. But you'll get a lot out of it. It's not something that you're not going to value yourself, folks. It's some really good videos that Grant puts together and some really good comments.
Thanks, Rick. Let's get to let's switch focus here to draft prospects and the this past week, the CHL
Mhm.
played against the top American prospects, and most of them. There were a couple missing, but it was the annual CHL top prospects game versus the Americans. The Americans ended up, they called it super overtime, and they won. Whatever. Each team split a game, as far as I'm concerned. I don't think anybody
Yeah.
won. But, we'll say the Americans finally beat Canada in one of these games, and then got the overtime winner. So they get the I don't know, trophy or whatever. I didn't see the second game yet, so you could probably uh, talk about it a little more than I could. Just what are your thoughts? Who made impressions on you in the two games that you saw?
Well, I think for Team Canada, and maybe one I could talk about a bit later at some point. One of those guys I'll talk about a bit later. But at D, especially on the whole, like for the whole both games, uh, Chase Reed and Carson Carls were really really solid at D. They do everything really well. They defend. They move the puck up the ice rather quickly. I think Carl's maybe. Doesn't moves the puck a little quickly up the ice sometimes, maybe too quickly, but he does it. He does do it well. Chase Reed is more of a classic break out of the zone really well. He defends well. Always both of them really solid with their mobility, especially laterally. They move well. Carl's is just nonstop motor. There's no there's no waiting for the play to come to him. He takes the play. Reed also, but he kind of will plays positionally a little bit more. So they're really both excellent defensemen with a lot of similarities, but some differences to their games. Caleb Malhotra and JP Albert and forwards to me stood out the most. Some guys are more fun to watch, like Novotny and things like that, because they carry the puck and make plays. But Albert and Malhotra are really, really smart, responsible centers that you want. Two-way guys that you don't sacrifice your offense for your defense, but you don't cheat either defensively for your offense. Those were the guys from Team Canada, and to be honest, Grant, like I don't have access to a lot of WHL games, so I'm watching this through the eyes of a scout. So I was focusing a lot on the Western Hockey League guys, a lot
Yeah.
more, not as much the OHL or QMJHL guys. For the second game, I thought Villeneuve was really, really good on the second game. He was okay on the first, but the second game was really, really good. A little bit of a yapper. Gets an opponent's face a lot of it, but he creates a ton, and his lateral mobility also is better than good. It's excellent actually. Understands when he's at his best when he kind of thinks of when to jump into the game. There's areas there's sometimes a tendency to overdo it, but on the second game he was a little bit more judicious and when to attack and when to back off. So he was excellent. For Team USA, first game, Keane was really excellent. The defenseman who plays in U.S. hockey. Sorry, my camera's giving me a bit of a hard time, but I'm going to fix it up there. And
Kevin Weeks.
he was really good. Mullen was a really solid player. Understands the game really well. Highly intelligent. And Nelson, the 2027 draft eligible player, was a standout. Controls the game, goes into hard areas, is a pest to play against. So those were the guys to me that stood out the most for both games.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like Keane, the defenseman, Lincoln Keane, number 15. He's playing in Arizona State. I had a quick look this morning. I was busy making videos of other guys for Habs Prospect of the Week that's coming up, and but Keane is a solid defender. Number 10, Shire. He's rated A prospect by Central Scouting. I didn't mind him in the first game. I've heard from a couple of scouts that he struggled a bit in the second game. Starting to wonder about his hockey IQ, whether it's up to, first round, maybe a stretch for him. Cullen's got some. I got some good feedback on Cullen. He's only 5'10", but he certainly had. He was noticeable in the two games. Carroll's. Rudolph made a really nice pass in the second game. We're going to have a look at the highlights here in a sec, but he's obviously you have to kind of decide who do you like more out of Rudolph. I think Carroll's is the top Western prospect and on defense, but they have a few. But out of Rudolph and Lynn, if you were to, I don't know how much you focused on the two, but who would you rate ahead of? Who would you rate first out of those two at this point?
Between Rudolph and Lynn, I would go with Rudolph myself. The issue for me with Lynn is that I think he does a lot of things that you want to see an offensive defenseman does, but he doesn't really have quite the creativity to compensate for his lack of size offensively, which is like I think he has to try to figure out his game a little bit, and I think what he'll ultimately be is more of a two-way defenseman, maybe a little bit more. He's going to have to learn to be a little bit more on the defensive side and use that speed to get to the break up plays quickly and move the puck quickly. But I don't know if he's a true, real, bona fide power play quarterback. I'm not sure yet. I want to see more of him this year. I haven't seen a ton yet, but I'm not 100% sure he's that. I think he's more of a skating two-way defenseman that could get to the puck quickly, and he has to move it simply, but he has to move it quickly to get the transition game going. I think that could be what he'll do best.
Yeah, and Morrison, I thought struggled. He had some he had a few mistakes in the games that I saw, or well, the highlights I saw the second game and the first game. Rudolph and Villeneuve. It'll be interesting to see where NHL scouts slot the two. I have a feeling that Rudolph's probably ahead of Villeneuve on a lot of lists, but there'll be some if they're looking for a kid that looks like he can run a power play down the road.
Yeah,
Maybe Villeneuve. It depends on a team's needs, right?
right.
There might be one that says, "Oh well, let's go with the kid that we're going to need a power play quarterback. He might be able to do that at the NHL level. Let's take him over Rudolph." But I think out of this group, Carl's and Reed, top 10, maybe flirting with top 5, and then Rudolph, Lynn, Villeneuve, and you kind of sort those guys out. Lynn, I have 3 out of those out of those 3 right now, but that seems like the order for that group. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, that's exactly the way I see it, Grant, too. Uh, I think the one of the issues too would be uh, with Lynn. Again, it's just going to be like he holds on to the puck a little bit too long, I find at times, and that causes him problems again because he's a very good skater, but at his size, when things go wrong, he can't fight off the opponent very well. So
Yeah,
he's got to be a little bit more conservative with that and not hold on to it quite as long because Villeneuve can't just because he's so amazingly quick moving side to side and his stops that he could. I think it's more easier for him to skate himself out of trouble than it is for Lynn, in my opinion. Although there's a really he's a nice skater, Lynn, of course, but really, really fluid. But he's not quite the same as dynamic as I would say as Villeneuve, in my opinion.
yeah. Rubrek and Belkits, I thought were a little disappointing, especially Belkits. I expected more out of him. Like, I think going in, a lot of people have him ahead of Carroll's and Reed in the rankings, but certainly based on those 2 games, and I mean, they're not going to base you take it with a grain of salt that it's
Right.
an exhibition games and it's 2 games, and you don't penalize a guy too much, but there is a possibility that those 2 defensemen, certainly if you were basing it on those games, ranking them ahead of Belkits at this point.
I don't see it either. I agree with you there too. He started off the first. It's like the first 5 minutes of the first game. I thought this guy might be a little bit of a force, and then I didn't really hear too much from Beckhelts after that. It was like anyway, you started off like I think he gave 2 really hard hits, and I thought, oh boy, this guy wants to be a factor. And
And
then
then
I didn't
yeah,
really hear his name too much anymore, and I was like, what's
yeah,
going on here? Like what happened? And he's one that he has reasonably good skills. So sometimes I think physical players look to be physical at this kind of game, and that's fine. But if you're going to be a top 10 pick, you could show a little bit of skill too. And I think sometimes he was forgetting to do that, just getting rid of the puck really quickly and not really showing that he's you know you could draft big guys in the 4th and 5th round with average hands. Those guys exist, but if you could show that you could stick handle and pass, and you're 6'4", well, that's when you become more of a factor. But if you're not showing those skills, man, it's like I don't know what to make of that. So not the best 2 games for him. No, I don't think I was hoping for a little bit more.
yeah. Well, I mean, I have been looking at him in the OHL and very impressive, and I could understand why he was considered a top 5 prospect. He's putting up good points. He's got the size, so
Oh yeah.
there's he's a top 10 guy at this
Yes.
point,
Yes.
but
Yes.
he didn't play like it in the 2 games, and
Right.
it makes you wonder a little bit. But yeah, that's and Rubrek. Well, I saw, yeah, he was not very impressive when I saw him live in Ottawa, and he's after having a 49 goal season last year. But he's been the most disappointing. Somebody that was considered a top 10 guy going into this draft class, and right now he's been moving back. I don't even know if he's top 20 at this point on some lists. So that he's been disappointing. But
Yeah.
the goalie in the U.S. goalie's Noling is
Yes.
he's a guy that I think we have to mention. He was very good in
Boy,
that first game.
he was so good. I liked him. I found that he stays back quite a lot. In a sense, it's good because he's really solid. Technically, he takes up a lot of space and nets,
Oh
so he doesn't give you much to shoot at, and he plays his
no,
angles very well. Maybe a little bit of work to do on flexibility and but a little bit speed on his lower body, getting up and down a little quicker. But you like what he does well, really stands out, and he doesn't give you much to shoot at. Really, he covers a lot of space in the net. Really compact.
yeah,
Doesn't chase the puck. Reads the play well too. I was really impressed. He was technically really was very often squared to the shooter. So I think he was the one goaltender that really stood out to me.
yeah. Just had a feeling, halfway through the game, I'm watching, saying, "Geez, he doesn't. There's not a lot of open space there, not a lot of open
Yeah,
net, and that's always, it must be frustrating for a shooter when geez, where am I going to put this? Right?
yeah,
He really impressed me. Let's have a look at the just the highlights of the two games
sure.
here. Okay. Here's oh, this was Diorio.
Yeah,
That was a nice burst. He
right.
he showed a few flashes there, I thought,
The Oriole's
during the
interesting
game.
because he doesn't play with a ton of pace and speed, but he has it in his toolbox that when he
Yeah,
needs it, he uses it. But besides that, he's a little bit cerebral at times.
yeah. Reed in the first game, a couple of goals where he wasn't 100%, but I mean, you see the skill, right?
Yeah.
He's a heck of a prospect. Um, here's the should almost maybe turn up the sound on this. Can't hear it, eh?
No, I can't. Sorry.
Yeah, that was the Reed pass there. That that was excellent. Or no, Malhotra. I mean,
Yeah.
he really sees the ice well. That was a beautiful pass to Reed. And there, oh, that didn't look too good.
No, no.
That was Belkitz,
Yeah.
and then the slow trot back there. Can at least hustle, man. No, that was a good chance. Rubrek, I guess it was. But the U.S., I don't know, like not a lot of top end prospects there. I don't think there was one at Cullen's goal. He's a good little player. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't
No,
know if he'll go in the second round or not, but he certainly made uh, uh, scouts took notice. Put it that way. That was a
yeah,
nice night from Preston. Didn't see a pile from him necessarily till
no.
the third period of that game, and that just that's where he gives you a glimpse of the skill level that he has. Right, he's one of the more skilled players in the game.
Definitely. But again, as you said, you don't see him for a while, and then suddenly, oops, there goes a beautiful goal out of the
Yeah,
blue.
and there was the empty netter to seal it,
Yeah.
and they were kind of happy. First time beating, first time beating Canada in the top
Yeah.
prospects. So that was game one.
Yeah.
Just the highlights, and let's get to game two here. Might as well do it full screen. People don't need to see us, eh?
No, no, it's a good idea.
And here, the shorty by Manny Malhotra's son, Caleb. Beautiful goal.
Yeah.
That was a big one to get them back in it. They were trailing 3-1, and this kind of turned the tide in
Which
that
is what
game, I
every
think.
good captain should be doing, right? Really be a leader on the team. Well, that's leadership,
Yeah.
my friend. Doesn't always have to be a rah-rah thing, but just the right
Well,
play at the right time.
yeah, it was kind of Suzuki-ish for sure.
Yeah.
And here they put the friggin' pressure on, going for the tying goal and couldn't quite do it at that point, but they did keep the pressure on.
Yeah.
And then Diorio with the Oreo cookie. That was a nice shot. Right, ding,
Really.
in close like that.
Yeah.
This he's a pretty smart player. He's got some skill. Um, there are some things to like about Diorio. He might be on the later in the first round consideration, I think, at this point. And
I
there's
think
the
he's a
winner.
first round guy myself, to be honest with you. I think
Villeneuve,
he's
Villeneuve gets
solid.
the Villeneuve gets the winner right here.
Really nice.
Really nice play. And hey, like every good defenseman should be right there in the slot, right, Rick?
Yeah, right. Maybe not the right slot though, buddy.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
As I said,
And
right, he's gonna give coaches on both teams a bit of a headache.
yep, yep, for sure. And there's a lad talking to him, and oh, okay.
Right.
He was a leader. He was a leader on that team. He was
Yeah.
wearing an A for a reason. So, kids, well respected, Hockey Canada circles. Um, probably be seeing him on the World Junior team. I'd say in a
Oh yeah.
year's time. They'll need
Oh yeah.
somebody running the quarter power play quarterback there. And there's Ryan Lynn. I don't know. He's a little slender too. I just had a scout telling me that he's a little worried about his frame, and I could see that. And here I am blabbing while the winning goal. Well, maybe that's appropriate because it was the U.S. But here's the winner. Diorio got schooled there, but hey, 3-on-3, right, Rick?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not a big deal.
No, I mean, let's just give kudos to the kid for making the move, scoring the
Yeah.
winning goal in super overtime. Super result
And
for
Grant?
the U.S. Not so super for Canada.
No. Talk about quickly about Ryan Lynn also. I think he gained 4 pounds from last year to this year, and that's really not a lot for a guy his size, right? So that really speaks of what you were talking about, a slender build. Yeah, 4 pounds in 1 year. For a guy who's not that big, you would think that he'd be really, and I'm sure he worked really hard at the gym, but if all he gained is 4 pounds, that just doesn't seem like much. I think he's at 177 right now for a 5'11" player, so it's not very big.
Yeah. Okay. And that was the two games, and in keeping with, I mean, I wasn't surprised when I asked you who is the chief amateur scout for HabsCast. Who is your prospect of the week? And you went with somebody that was in that game.
A young man who we mentioned we both really like, but it is going to be Caleb Malhotra, center for Brantford, 6'2", 182. So he's got a frame to work with. Brantford is juggernaut in the league this year. 19 regular time wins, one regular time loss only this year. 4 losses or 5 losses in overtime, which is really impressive. A team that has Benak, O'Brien, Vanaker, and now they just got Jet Luchanko as a forward. But he still plays his minutes, and he will continue to do so because he does everything on that team that is really very well stacked with experienced players. Yet, he gets power play time, he gets penalty kill time, he gets a lot of minutes. And you could see why, Grant. I mean, the first thing to me, and I think we both kind of noticed it and alluded to it, right? Probably one of the best, or if not the best, positional player at forward for this year's draft. Defensively, he just understands where to place himself. Great stick position. Understands his angles, understands when to move in, when to back off, and just really keeps the opponent to the sides really well. Doesn't give you much, cross ice options. And what he does, well, we saw what happened, right? Cut it off, go down, shorthanded goal. He is also just as smart offensively, understands where to be on the ice. He is always seems to be a passing options for his line mates. If they're down deep and they're being pressured and the defenseman doesn't know where to go, well, Malhotra's usually around. And same thing offensively. He understands where to be. Positional to the net. His vision is very strong. I think some people maybe underrate his playmaking ability, and the reason I say they might underrate is that he doesn't make a lot of low percentage passes. If there's a risk that a pass could lead to a defensive issue, he won't try it, but he will find open players on either side of him really well, and he could feather a really good quality pass. It's just they don't get cut off a lot, so it doesn't seem like he did much, but he did really, really well. His skating, I would classify it, as adequate. I don't. He's not a speedster. I don't think his dad was ever a speedster, but he skates well enough going forward that he could keep up with the play. Uh, his edges could be a bit better. Probably his first few steps also could be a little better. But I think there's reason to think it will be. Again, he's only 182 pounds on a 6'2" frame, so I think he should be growing into it. So he has to still work on his balance. It affects a little bit of his work in the face-off circle. I believe he's in his 43 to 44% success in the face-off circle, but I think that should get better again as he gets stronger and
Well,
more solid on his skates.
his
And then
his
it's
dad
not
his
terrible.
dad his dad was fantastic on
Oh
face.
yeah. Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
I wouldn't worry too much about that. He'll be getting lots of tutoring from. Malhotra has worked with clubs,
Yeah,
as face-off specialist. So that would be
right.
something that I would think. I wouldn't worry too much about his face-offs. In fact, I expect that it'll only improve as he gets older. I mean, 17-year-olds, just like any league, Rick.
Yeah,
You know, typically it's the veterans that are the best at face-offs because it just with experience and with repetition you become a better face-off man. You look at NHL stats, it's veterans that lead typically. They're
absolutely.
always at the top. So but in that regard, I think because of his dad, a former Hab, by the way, Manny Malhotra, uh, I think his face-offs will become
Oh,
a
I'm
strength
sure.
with time.
I'm sure it's not. I'm not overly concerned. Just as I think sometimes battling against the boards, I thought sometimes he works very hard. He makes life difficult on opponents, but it's okay. But I also it will get better. I have no doubt about it. Again, he's 182 pounds right now on a 6'2" frame. He just needs to grow into that body, improve his overall balance. And I hate doing this usually, but if I could find a comparable to me, I see maybe a little bit of a little bit. I say of a bit of Ryan O'Reilly in the way he plays. Really smart two-way, very good instinct and puck moving, and he wants to be a leader. He is. I've read a quote from one of his coach from Jay McKee, his coach there, and he from an article, and he said, he's the kind of guy that will ask the referees, what their names are, their first names, so he talks to them, and introduces himself
Yeah.
properly, and he gets a lot of respect from the coaches because he's very analytical in his comments to them, and they kind of like the way he thinks the game. So maybe if there's a little bit of that, I see a little bit of that in him, of course, mixed with some other things. But to me, of a prospect that has a pretty high ceiling and a very high floor. Like I don't
Yeah.
I don't see him not being in the NHL one day and contributing in a good way to any organization that drafts him.
Yeah. Um, Compared to Ryan O'Reilly, well, maybe the Habs should trade Hage for him. Can they do that? Is that?
Let's
I
try
don't know.
that.
Yeah,
Let's be groundbreakers, right?
yeah, yeah. Ask if hey, Brantford, will you take Hage for this guy? No, I don't think that's how it works, right?
No, no,
Uh,
no.
got to draft him. Got to draft him. Hey, maybe he's a target for the Canadiens. Which way does he shoot, Rick?
Left-handed shot.
Yay! Well, you never
Yay!
know. Is he? If you were to slot him right now, would you say he's 11 to 20 at this point? And if the skating looks a little better as it looks like it improves from here to draft and perhaps top 10, or do you have him you have him slotted as a top 10 guy at this point?
No, I think we're looking at 8 to 12 in that general area, just because I think as the season goes along, he'll impress so much when you see a guy make so few mistakes and so many good things, especially without the puck. You know the way scouts like that, right? We love to see the puck skills, but my gosh, when the guy's that good without the puck,
Yeah.
he's never going to hurt you, at least, right? Like that's the thing. He's never going to hurt you, and he's the kind of guy that will do well if he doesn't. He'll help your team if he doesn't score. But I think and I say that not to say that there's no offensive ability in him. You saw it. He's got pretty good hands, nice vision, understands the game really well, sees options really well. So I don't see him not being able to contribute offensively. I don't think he's going to be a top 10 scorer in the league at any point. But he's not going to be devoid of any offense. He's the kind of guy that, you could put him with two high octane offensive wingers and he's able to keep up with them, but he's also able to focus on defense and give them the opportunity to shine offensively. So you kind of like guys like that. And the bloodlines are fantastic, right? Dad Manny, his uncle, I believe, is Steve Nash, basketball player. So he's got some good bloodlines. And you could tell by the way he composes himself, by the way he plays. He's constantly playing well. There's a regularity in his game a consistency in his game that you really appreciate. And game after game, he gives you the same thing, which coaches really love.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Rick. Now we're looking at the Habs prospect of the week.
Yes.
And I think we got to go with Mr. Michael Hage. And I've got a video here. Let's just quickly look at here's the top scorers in NCAA.
Wow.
Hage is tied for the lead with two teammates, his line mates, actually. Will Horkoff and TJ Hughes. So all three, 1.44 points per game, 26 points. He's got 10 goals, 16 assists. Hey, that's impressive that he's leading. Let's see what we'll get a really good look at him at the World Juniors. I think it's safe to say that he'll be on the Canadian squad this time around, and it'll be fun. That's where it'll be a really good litmus test for him. I think the World Juniors. So let's have a look here.
Gets the body in front, and Morden. Horkoff camped out in front of the crease. Tries to take.
Horkoff camped out in front of the crease as usual. He moves the puck smartly on the power play. Look at almost like a defenseman back there. He's good on the point too. He'll be on the Habs power play someday. Safe to say. They've got. He's got a good one timer. He's usually over actually on the left wall. The Canadiens are no shortage of guys that can play on the left wall on the power play. But look at that pass there. That was what we say. And then again, quarterback and things there. And
really good.
Yeah. Oh, geez, that's the end of the friggin'. Sorry, folks. That was supposed to be right at the very end. Well, we'll show it again. But that was the overtime winner. I'll get to that later. But here's the start against Harvard. 2 games this weekend. He had 2 points in the one, and then a goal and 2 assists in a 4-3 win last night. So can't ask for much more than that.
No, he was good.
Harvard is a pretty decent team too. So it's not like getting 4 points against Mercyhurst. This is 3 out of Michigan got 3 goals and he got 4 goals and he got 3 points. So, but here that focused on his defensive play. Now TJ Hughes is taking the draws predominantly on this line with him and Horkoff, but as you saw by that play, and you'll see throughout this video, Hage really plays center after the draw, especially in the defensive zone. He's really like you just see, you notice, like, I don't know what their structure is or how it, but he's the bigger body than Hughes, and I think that's how they have it set up where he ends up um, after the draw, he kind of takes the center slot, especially in their own zone, and hey, that means that he's improving his defensive play too, right? And that
Right.
seemed to be the biggest issue with him going into the year was just how could he improve his play away from the puck, and that's been probably the most noticeable improvement in his game. But you
Mhm.
see in these videos, Rick, just how powerful a skater he is. Eh?
Fantastic.
Yeah, he's
His
he's got,
capacity to just change direction so easily is really beautiful to see. There's really no, there's a fluidity in how he does everything.
yeah, bit of a wide strut. Oh, here was that beautiful pass again. Nice to see him along the wall. Winning puck battles. Got the puck out to Hughes. Hughes over to Horkov in his office, and that was a nice goal. But he's got a bit of a wide track skating, but he's so powerful and
Mhm.
agile. It's just his style. But look at the wheels on him. He's one of the best skaters. The Canadiens have two of the best skaters in college hockey, in Mooney and Hage.
Yeah.
So that's impressive. But here he is again. Nice shovel pass there. A little risky, but got away with it. Oh, look at him come in here. Boom. And then the linesman grabs him and says, "Hey, bad boy there. Yeah, shouldn't be doing that." But Hughes got in a scuffle and he comes in, and I don't mind that. Little sandpaper. Look at this one.
Oh,
And that's on Langenbrunner. Jamie Langenbrunner's young lad who's
yeah.
6'3"
Oh boy.
and a draft pick. But that was
Yeah.
beautiful. I'm just I'm gonna turn up the sound on this because it's kind of cool. If we get it,
Even
if we get
strength
sound,
here. Taken
yeah.
away by Hage. Fresh out of the penalty box. Shoots and he scores!
Whoa.
Scores! Oh, mama! You can't hide the cookies from Michael Hage! Hello, speed and skill down the middle for Michigan. That's the second line center. Hage's 10th of the year.
That's Langenbrunner.
Another
Look at this
inside
power
out move
movement.
goes
Ding.
wide to beat
Oh.
Langenbrunner. That's one.
Would that be Guy Carbonell's grandson?
Who?
Langenbrunner, right? Didn't Langenbrunner marry Carbonell's daughter? Was it another player from Dallas?
Not sure. Probably.
Okay.
I don't think he might not be admitting it right now after that. No, just kidding. Yeah, but that wasn't a. I mean, I think the kid was drafted, right? So,
I can't remember.
yeah, beat a drafted prospect. It's not like he's an also ran. So, but that right there just gives you an idea of the the skill level that this kid has, and he he's looked good this year. I have to say. Now, 43%. That wasn't a good play. There's a couple once in a while he shoveled it into the middle there, and that was not a smart play, and they almost scored. But there aren't too many of those. He's been pretty
No.
he's been pretty responsible for the most part this year. And there again, see, he's in deep. He's basically the center defensively, right? But
Definitely.
I have liked his improved defensive play. I also then you see him taking the hit there. He's not afraid to take a hit to make a play. So there's
There
certainly
goes.
not. Uh, he's certainly physical. His physicality has improved. Look at that.
Wow.
Too bad that the camera. Here we go. Boom. But look at the guys on the bench. You can see, you can tell that he creamed him, right? Even though you don't necessarily see it. when the guys on the bench start tapping their sticks after, but that was a big hit. You can just tell the guy was going down as the camera went away. But there you go again, right? Here's the taking the hit to make the play. I really like this.
Yeah.
Nice pass.
And he still kept his eyes on the play, right? As he's taking the hit, he's turning, looking towards the play, kind of thinking of what he has to do next already.
Yeah. And here again, good forecheck. Makes the play here. Ended up giving away the puck, but I liked his forecheck. He gets the puck here. Just such a good skater.
His teammate there wasn't ready for that pass. You got to be ready for it, buddy.
Got it back to the defenseman who wasn't quite ready. But you see here on the power play, he kind of runs things really for Michigan.
He
does. And that's where he sets up on the left wall as a rule. And you see him here. He look at that pass, eh? Beautiful. So he doesn't always just one-timer. He dished that off to Horkoff and then dished it again. So there's some variety there. Not like Laine where you know what's, he's shooting. There he got away with. We'll show this again here. This should have been a penalty. It was overtime. Boom.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Definitely.
And they get this friggin' scoring chance.
Oh.
But Harvard with good reason, because what happens here coming up. Oh, Hage, shoveled it ahead to a teammate. That was a nice play. But just a little bit further right here.
Oh, man.
So he draws a penalty after the other guy that he tripped. No penalty on him. That was not a knee on knee, but it, and he's pointing up and said, what about in that zone? What about his trip? And it's Langenbrunner again.
Oh boy.
Anyway.
Not a fan of Hage at the moment.
No, but almost a knee on knee, sort of. Yeah, it was actually. So, anyways, it led to the power play, and Harvard, of course, was not too happy. But 4-on-3 power play, Michigan. Guess what eventually happens here, Rick?
I think again, I know. I see
it
coming.
Yeah, this was him dishing it. We saw that earlier, and then back to Hughes, and he takes it. And they didn't score there, but the next face-off, here he is running the play, running the show. Then he points the stick over, says, "Get it to that guy." And they work it around really nicely here. Nice team. See, he held on. Yeah, this is, I think, a replay of a replay. Sorry about that.
No, but it's impressive. It's. I love the patience.
Yeah. And then he got it to Horkov, who once again scores. So, yeah, pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive play by him on this weekend. Tied for the NCAA in points, which you gotta love. He's rounding into shape. I'm really looking forward to seeing him at the World Juniors. I think he will be. He will probably be in Canada's top 6. Will he play at center? Maybe not. But that's okay too. That will be the interesting part. But I think he's got a top 6. When you're leading the friggin' NCAA in scoring, and you're still eligible for the World Juniors, that's a pretty good indicator that you'll be a top 6 forward for your World Junior team, And so
Impressive.
we look forward to seeing him at the on this year's team. I know Canadiens fans were disappointed that last year he didn't get named, but he's a lock. I do believe this time around.
Hopefully Team Canada goes with more skills than they have in the past and not so many depth players, right? And
Yeah.
give the skilled players a chance. And just very quickly, Grant, Langenbrunner was not Carbonell's son. It was Brendan Morrow. I got the wrong
That's right.
Dallas Stars
Yeah,
players.
no, yeah. If you'd have
My
said
apologies
Morrow,
for
I'd have
that
said
one.
yes. You'd have said Morrow, I'd have said yes, because that's, yeah.
Yeah, no,
That's
sorry
who it
about that.
is. Because
Yeah,
that's who
right.
it is. Yeah. Okay.
I got it wrong. But thank you for those clips on Michael Hage, Grant. Fun for me. I didn't have a chance to see him, so it was really fun to see him. He looks like he filled out. He looks like he's more powerful. You could see with the physicality, a little glimpse of it here and there. And you don't want him to do that 10 times a game because it's going to take him out from what he does best. But the stick handling, the speed, especially the skating, the capacity to feather nice, precise, creative passes is a lot of fun to watch. So Habs fans should be very excited.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Rick. Well, wow. We're up to an hour, 7 minutes, so I think we better wrap it up there. But
Yes, sir.
great. I guess you're gonna, if you like to tune into the post game shows, there's going to be a bunch of them over the next 7 days or 9 days, at least 5. So I hope to see you folks for some post game shows coming up with the Habs playing so often, and maybe Rick can even join us for a couple of them.
Absolutely. And folks, like and subscribe to our page and to HabsCast, because you'll get a ton of great content. Grant's been working his butt off. Believe me, he does not stop for a second. I don't think he does. But you're very lucky to be part of this to be part of this community, and we're very thankful for having all of you. I mean, the post game shows have been nothing but a blast. It's been amazing.
Yeah, they're fun. Yeah. Although I'm starting to drink a little bit too much, maybe, but anyway.
0.5 beers, Grant. That's what I was doing last night.
Yeah, I know. Liam even had a friggin' water bottle last night. I meant to. I didn't notice it at the time, but I meant to tease him about that. But yeah, I'm the one that I'm the one that's. Anyway, as long as it's only a couple, right, Rick?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, my friend. Thanks again, and till next time, next Sunday, tune in for our weekly prospect of the week for the Habs and for the draft. And as always, thanks, Rick, a pile, and we'll see you this week at some point, but for sure next Sunday. Okay?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.